there is a slumbering dragon in all men, and many men may go their entire lives and fail to not only recognize it, but fail to wake it, fail to unlock and channel the divine powers of this particular enchanted beast. And the consequences of not doing this are dire, because you recognize you've been living life with one hand tied behind your back. It's like driving a car, the car representing the vehicle you use in the race of life. And once you get 80% done with the race, you look down and you realize, oh, there's a nitrous oxide button that will allow you to leapfrog the competition. And this is part of the sentiment which precedes masculine theory, is fundamentally recognizing the powers that lie dormant at the base of your very spine. And here this individual has recognized how he has gone from evidently poor to wealthy in 6-7 months, when recognizing the slumbering dragon and actually pressing that nitrous oxide button and leapfrogging the competition. So, gentlemen, relax as always, and I will take you through our fellow brother's story here in how he did it. So from poor to wealthy in 6 to 7 months after conserving and retaining sexual energy. I started this practice maybe 3 years ago now. I was poor. I had no career or anything. I spent a long time on these subreddits, learning, making friends. I put a lot of effort into moving away from my old degenerate habits. All my energy was focused on this, but I felt stuck in the financial aspect. But other than that, life was okay. I was enjoying living freely. The pandemic, nice play on words there, started, and I realized I better make some money, because I'm not going to wear a face diaper and earn a wage. And then eventually I realized I will make these shots, they will make these shots mandatory, as they have. So I had to be financially stable to survive without the system. I think that's a testament to a lot of men watching this video, that they too recognize the reality of becoming independent and not solely on one income stream. In 6 to 7 months, I somehow learned about financial things and programming, and rekindled an investment in computing I had as a kid, and have had great successes. I became an expert investor. They say everyone is a pro on a good market that is pumping, but I studied a strategy and science that I don't think I would have understood if I was continuing in my degenerate, sexually releasing behavior. Since I became so busy, I lost some of my daily practices. I never sexually released, but I wasn't strict with avoiding pictures of women, and a few times I even looked at naked pictures. I don't recommend it. There is something to be said about the testament of brahmacharya here, which is a very, very strict Vedic practice. And this is a breaking of brahmacharya, actually, because they believe even entertaining lust in the mind, that you've already committed a relapse. I think it's important to be sensitive towards the fact that we're not just talking about a physical release in energy here, we're talking about an etheric, an astral release in this kind of energy. Also, a spiritual release might be more palatable to your mind. Throughout this, I have always had a stupid problem of fantasizing when I wake up in the morning. What I learned is that there's 2 types of sexual nature. One is from a form of stress and desperation and survival. Fundamentally, that's what you're describing there. The survival of replication, the limbic system response, the mammalian reptilian brain that the human organism serves as a god in and of itself. And one is from health and real desire. Perhaps I'm misinterpreting this, but I would say that these two are not too dissimilar from one another. But let's press on. The latter doesn't seem to drain energy nearly as much as the former. I also studied health and medicine, became very good at treating myself and my family members. For example, this past week I had a pain in my toe, and I knew exactly what to eat. Within 20 minutes, the problem was already healing. Perhaps some testimony to intuition here. I just want to pick up on that latter point. I wonder if you gentlemen have seen some kind of similarities in this, in that stress and desperation seem not to diminish your energetic capacity. I don't have too much insight on that. I think what a brother here is trying to say is, the channels in which we express that sexual energy can become inefficient when we recognize that they are seated in an emotion of desire and lacking stress and anxiety. But when we can move that flow of sexual energy through a loving, reciprocal relationship built on compassion and love, there is a conduit in which we can channel the energy through, and it can actually be a revitalizing process. And individuals who have practiced any kind of tantric sexual intercourse, also Karetsa as well, which I've referenced many times, I have experienced a rejuvenating, invigorating response or outcome predicated on the energy that I'm holding at the time when I'm doing that kind of act. Meaning it's not out of lust or greed or not having, but it's actually coming from an intention of love. So you're in a way, you're exercising and you're circulating the sexual energy through a medium of love, which is a very holy experience. Anyway, what I posted to say is I focused so much on the material wealth thing for these months. Now I realize I need to reach back to the more narrow path. Many times I let my mood and attitude become complacent and plebeian, interesting term, because in my work I associated with normal people who aren't on the type of path that we are talking here. It is easy to get dragged back into the normal world. I am now developing the discipline again with the knowledge and direction I understood this past year. The outcome for achieving the material wealth to follow this Dharma is in fruition. I hope everyone here knows we are in a covert war in many ways. We have a duty to uphold this. We are all in the war against lust and desire and not having. And it is foolish once you recognize that you are the God that you are seeking. Let me say that again. You are the God you are seeking. You are the man who is going to allow you to become the individual that you need to be. The person you are looking to save yourself is you. I struggled for a while from not understanding how to get started in the direction I wanted. Well, what worked for me was just retaining for 2 years, nothing else, just learning and studying and not entertaining sexual degeneracy. Eventually, some type of healing or natural transmutation began and the path unfolded. Thank you for reading, and I thank you for sharing, and hopefully you can thank me for giving my insight here as well, my friends. To come back to the initial title of the video in which is a reconciliation, or I suppose a story on how one may transmutate sexual energy into financial energy, is the focus, the discipline, the vigor, the energy one recoups naturally as a consequence of not allowing his energy to be ensconced in fantasizing and lustful premises is a really remarkable kind of transition. My capacity certainly to be creative is untouched comparatively to where it was when I was living a life that was ensconced in carnal desire. And, it's been a very long time living like this, and, things kind of come to me naturally. You can call it intuition, you can call it, divine downloads. But you recognize you have a more openness and acceptance of things that maybe your ego would have held you back from, meaning you may convince yourself out of doing something because you believe your present identity is not consistent or congruent with that idea. But in actual fact, when you have the energy, when you have the discipline, when you have the focus, you can achieve and be, very, very successful in fields of work that you may previously have talked yourself out of because you didn't have the energy, you didn't have the mental fortitude, because you were not in control. You were a slave to your own desire. You were a slave to your impulsivity, your reactivity, your limbic system, the feminine part of your mind. And once you begin to discipline that and you bring all that energy back to prefrontal cortex control through meditation, as a means to discipline your limbic system, from carnal impulses, then focusing on maybe learning a new coding language like Python might, you find to yourself is very, very simple and very, very feasible and very, very achievable. So I think the lesson for me here in this particular story is recognizing that your capacity to be creative and actually make financial Gain is lessened when your energy and attention is lost in pleasure as opposed to in purpose. And those are not theories, those are cold, hard facts. I'm going to change my name to Masculine Facts. Speak soon.